I saw the conversation surrounding Resistance 3 and the potential for Resistance 4 and all of that with Ted Price's interview. Ted Price, that's the name, right? The gentleman that is just recently retired from Insomniac. And why PlayStation did not go ahead to greenlight another Resistance game. I've even seen a lot of folk on the PlayStation side a little, irate that this actually did come out. But you have to understand that hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight is basically, where you can go back and say, man, if only I wish we should have, we could have, would have, should have. But ladies and gentlemen, you got to think about it this way, okay? When Resistance 3 came out, it did not seemingly have the best reception, and I don't know exactly why. I think I may have a Resistance game somewhere gifted to me on the PS3. I think I do. I'm gonna go check my physical. My physical discs are old games from the PS3, Xbox 360. Almost everything else I do digital now. It is what it is. It's just I prefer that. And I was looking around. I just did a little bit of a quick search. I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't want to start losing my mind. And what I saw was a little surprising, in the sense that Resistance actually had some very interesting sales across the board. I'm going to go ahead and show you right here. I was looking up some stuff on Civilization, but let's look at the stuff that we are seeing on Resistance right here. So Resistance 3 came out in 2016, September, and its sales on this Medium article was only about 180,000 copies in its release month. This Medium article compared it to Gears of War 3, which when released sold 3 million copies in the very first week. And he said, it's easy to see how badly Resistance 3 did. I have zero idea why Resistance 3 did, so bad in sales. There was little competition at the time, and the series still had a strong fan base. Perhaps the marketing strategy wasn't the best, but I can't remember and couldn't find any evidence to suggest this. Now, this article here from the Medium was written July 3rd of 2022. And it says Resistance 3, a lost gaming franchise, a retrospective of Resistance 3. I just went and found it. Now, here's something very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. The same year that this Resistance 3 game came out, right? A few months prior was when PlayStation's outage in April through, I think, May or so. Look at this. It says 2011 network outage was the result of an external intrusion on Sony's PlayStation Network and Curiosity Networks. I almost could not read that. In which personal details of approximately 77 million accounts were compromised and prevented users of PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Portable consoles from accessing the service. Could it be? Could it be? Again, I'm just asking a question. Didn't have a PS3 at the time, and even then, what the heck? I was probably maybe playing on my friend's PS3, and I was playing the Arkham games, and we were playing all the other, maybe single player games. Maybe if anybody wanted to play FIFA at the time, well, we were in college. What did we care? I mean, like April through May, we're probably trying to get finals done, if you get what I mean. But it's still interesting to have seen at this time this kind of an outage. If you were, in the position to get an Xbox to play your games, you probably did. If Gears of War was coming out at the time, you probably were thinking, well, my data didn't get stolen. So maybe some people deferred to playing Gears of War at the time. I don't know. I can't tell anything. Now, as much as I'll say, in defense of, PlayStation, I think they probably should have factored that in their decision for another Resistance game. But maybe it just wasn't the time to make it. Maybe they should have rebranded a reboot of the Resistance game for the PS4. Probably would have hit. Maybe a reboot of Resistance for the PS5. Maybe something like that. But now that they're looking for live service games, I strongly believe that would have been a real strong proposition in this particular market. Because if the news is if there's any truth to the news, Gears is going to go and find those PlayStation players that left Xbox on PlayStation, if the news has any merit to it. And by the time they do it, because they already have a bunch of Gears games just sitting on Xbox, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're going to have to sit there and make another Gears game and, we got to wait all these years for Gears to come to them, before it comes to PlayStation. No. They're literally already sitting there. I mean, it's insane how many of them are sitting there. Like, it's not just one, it's not just three, it's a ton. And this is all I can find on PC. Imagine if I open up, the whatchamacallit, the Xbox store, the amount of Gears games that are going to literally be there. So if they do that and they move these Gears games, the old ones already established, and take them to PlayStation and reboot them and create new, excitement for them with a new player base for the online modes, then once again, PlayStation is just going to get blocked from a proposition that it could have gotten into. And it's just very interesting that they opted for a designer game. When I say designer game, third person, blah, 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 license game, rather than pursuing their own game. This is almost similar to the mistake that Ubisoft made with The Division 2. Let me give you guys a little story. Please sit down. Grab your coffee, grab your popcorn. Tom Clancy's The Division 1 launched in 2016 to critical success. It was buggy at launch. There was a lot of things that were done wrong. People left the game, but the game still maintained a core base that was seeing at least millions of players continue to play the game. They did a big revamp. The game brought in a whole bunch of people. It was cool. It was insane. Then they decided, you know what, we're going to go ahead and, not make any more of this game again. And people said, no way, man, you can't leave your dedicated user base. So they decided to add more content, and then they announced The Division 2. When they announced before they announced The Division 2, they announced that they were working on Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. You guys know that game. It came out. Sold meh. Is on sale now. You can pick it up from the bottom of the bin. And then, instead of them to go and make another Division game and reboot the franchise and not repeat the mistakes they made for Division 2, they decided they were going to go make a Star Wars game. They went for two designer licensed games rather than make a game where they own the license for. And now, after they saw Avatar basically bombed, Star Wars Outlaws basically bombed, they now are talking about going to a Division 3 after having said that they did not have any interest or any plans to make a Division 3 game. I think this is what happened to PlayStation. I think this is what PlayStation pretty much finds itself in, where it abandoned projects to pursue these designer projects and these projects that are one and doneers. And like I said, hindsight is 2020. Xbox could have probably fallen into the exact same trap if they were chasing PlayStation's trend. But it didn't seem like they were chasing PlayStation's trend. And so them basically now finding and looking very carefully into their own vault and seeing, we got these games sitting here, man. What are we going to do with them? Project Latitude. Grounded. Project Latitude. Forza. Project Latitude. Age of Mythology. Project Latitude. Age of Empires. Project Latitude. Oh, man. They literally are now taking all those games that they already see and they already find an opportunity with the market trends. And, man, are they running crazy and can't dump them fast enough on the PlayStation platform. If they go in with Halo, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys, but if they go in with Halo, as much as the Xbox community may complain, blah, 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 but many of the Xbox community, you guys, when I talk about Halo, and I'm not a Halo player, I only read what you guys tell me. You guys told me that Halo hasn't been good for a long time. That's what I've heard from you guys. I mean, I don't think it's PlayStation players that were saying that. It's y'all that said that to me, right? So I don't know. If Xbox takes it to PlayStation and goes to revamp a new audience, and give it a little bit of, excitement, I know some of you are going to want to come back to troll the PlayStation players. Some of you have said that in the comment section. You said, I pray they don't turn off crossplay. In fact, some of you will buy it on PlayStation just to troll the PlayStation fans and make them suffer, right? So I think the perfect storm or the perfect set of circumstances seem to be aligning to either favor one party over the other, or I guess PlayStation can not be so stiff-necked and tweak its business practice to be able to leverage the situation right now. That's where I think things are more than likely going to go. And this whole resistance thing really does bring up the importance of having a diverse library. You see, a lot of this whole media conversation and stuff in terms of, the narrative can only carry you so far. Right? That's all. Look at this chick. Just break this thing apart. I mean, I use the Spider-Man footage, ladies and gentlemen, but sometimes I start watching it, and she literally just jumps out that thing, and then MJ takes a zappy gun and starts to beat them. This is why I can't stand the game, because Silver Sable should have been up in here, guys. Come on. Yuri should have been up in here. I should have been able to play as either Silver Sable or Yuri if they want to go that route, right? This is Insomniac we're talking about. If Warner Bros. Montreal can give me 4 different, Bat Family characters to work with, I mean, I'm not asking too much from Insomniac with a $315 million budget. Come on now. All right, I just got carried away. Anyways, comment section resistance stuff. Ah, goodness. Peace out.